What would you prefer, armor, gun, or balance between those? In this video review, you will see what happens when literally everything is sacrificed for just one thing. The creators of Object 120 decided that the most important part of a tank destroyer is gun, and now we in War Thunder have to deal with the consequences. Let's see how this vehicle feels in game environment. But before we dive into battles, let's go through a list of characteristics that I must mention. First of all, Object 120 is a premium vehicle at battle rating 7.7. There is no need to research modules and you will bring more Silver Lions and research points from battles. Gun's reload speed is 10 seconds, always. Doesn't matter if you have aced crew, doesn't matter if your loader is dead, there is an autoloader mechanism and reload is always 10 seconds. 30mm of armor will protect you from machine gun fire from front. That's it. Any low tier SPAA with small cannon will be a problem. Your sights are 15mm thick and roof that covers your ammo storage only 10mm. That makes you vulnerable to plane attacks. In addition to that, this is a hull breakable vehicle, meaning that even if shells don't damage critical components, you can still be sent to hangar. If you're lucky, expect to survive one hit, or even two, but in general, when everything poses threat to you, avoiding being hit is the only option. It is the only Soviet tank destroyer that has turret that can turn 360 degrees to kill everyone around you, and the only thing that will slow you down is the maximum rotation speed of 18 degrees per second. Depression of only -5 degrees and elevation of 15 means that you will often have to expose your hull since you cannot hide it behind a hill and be able to shoot at the same time. Because the vehicle is so slightly armored, it positively affects movement, and despite not reaching light tanks' maneuverability, expect to reach slightly more than 40 km/h forward on even ground, 15 backwards, and turn faster than your turret. Remember I said everything was sacrificed for the gun? In harsh reality, when you start battle, there are only you and your gun. No stabilizers, no rangefinders, no smoke screens, no artillery, not even a machine gun to mark enemies for your allies or protect yourself from an aircraft. Finally, 152mm caliber shells. Let's expand here a little bit. It has 3 available projectiles: APFSDS, heatfs, and fragmentation. No point to use fragmentation since you already have heat shell with 6.5 kilograms of TNT equivalent of explosives. So choice is now between those two. Kinetic penetrator has speed of 1700 meters per second, making it super easy to aim at longer distances, and you can shoot through walls or trees as well. On the other hand, heat shell has higher penetration and explosive effect that sometimes can just hull break light tanks. But since you can encounter tanks with reactive armor plates, you risk to do no damage. Usually I take both shell types, but quantity depends on situation. In arcade, just like any other vehicle without armor, you have to play extremely careful. Your shells have amazing penetration, so you don't have to aim for weak spots. This allows you to stay away from the battle at a sniping position and shoot into enemy tank silhouettes. If possible, stay at more than 1 kilometer away to make your opponents more difficult to aim at you. Always hide behind a rock or building. Peek out just when you are ready to shoot. With -5 degrees of depression, most of the time you will be forced to expose your hull before shooting. It might make sense to take APFSDS shells in certain maps, since in arcade shooting enemy markers through up buildings or trees is common practice. Take care of yourself and always stay hidden if not shooting. In realistic, the most important thing is to spot enemy first. If you do that, you will be the first to land a shot that will kill or at least cripple the enemy. There comes your amazing ballistics that helps you quite easily hit moving targets at a distance. Use that advantage every way you can. In certain maps at the beginning of a match, try to shoot enemies moving from a respawn. Engage at such distances where most of your opponents cannot effectively fight back. And I don't need you to tell what happens when a vehicle without armor gets spotted first, right? If you stay in the open, any plane trying to just mark you with machine gun fire can kill you. The same with any caliber SPAA. For you, threat is everything that can shoot you back. Often, to minimize your silhouette, you will want to peek around the corner backwards, since the gun is placed on the back of your hull. The best positioning would be behind a rock or hill that provides full cover of your tank and lets you peek out with only turret exposed. I would prefer heat shells in realistic, because there you rarely shoot without direct line of sight, and despite having slightly worse ballistics, heat shell often leaves no chance by hull breaking light vehicles, which are very popular in this game mode. Object 120 has extremely powerful gun for its battle rating and will do damage no matter where your shot lands, but this doesn't mean that a no-brainer can play it. Instead, vehicle requires player to focus on how to stay hidden and predict enemies' movement to spot them first. That's skill-dependent tank, requiring good map knowledge and not forgiving mistakes. But if you do everything right, you are rewarded with almost guaranteed penetration and tons of damage that usually ends up with one-hit kill. If you like my videos and want to support my emotional well-being, subscribe and click that like button.